today I'm going to show you how to do a t-shirt that looks like tie-dye, but it's much easier, and it's a method that I have invented. And I'm going to show you some samples of what it's going to look like. I teach this at Hancock College in Santa Maria in their College for Kids program. And these are just a couple samples of the kids that they did. And there's different ways you can do it, and really there's no way of making a mistake. Everybody has a different technique, and it depends on what colors you use and how much water you use and how much t-shirt you let show through. But you basically start with a white cotton t-shirt. Brand new is fine. If you have an old one that you got a stain on, that's fine too. You can resurface it. So let me show you another. Couldn't think of the word. Can I grab the t-shirt? Okay. Here is a sample of one that's already done that I did a while ago, and in this one I let a lot of the white t-shirt shine through. Now I have no idea, because everyone turns out different. You can't make two alike. So I have no idea what this one I'm going to do today is going to turn out like. So let's see. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. You're just going to love this. First of all, I use these dyes that are really for silk dye, but it's I call it Deca. You can call it Deca, some people do. But it's Deca dyes. They're not too expensive, but you want to use this very sparingly. It's very, very potent. It's very concentrated. You need very little. You need mostly water. So I'm going to show you. So I've got 3 different colors here. I've got purple, kind of a turquoise, and a green, real pretty green. And what's so fun about this is that when they get together, they start blurring into each other, and it's just wonderful, and it's so fun. You're just going to love this. So I just want to show you. Basically, I like to use things that are recyclable. So this is just like a meat thing that your mom goes to the store, gets chicken, hamburger, pork chops, and you keep this part. And then it's good if it's a long tray like this one, so that when you throw the dyes on here, they won't mix in together. Usually I put them at 2 separate corners. And then I a lot of times use, like this, just a milk carton, and you just cut it off, fill it with water, there's your water. Okay? So you want to make sure the milk is finished though, and ask Mom, okay? Okay, so let's get started. Let's see. First of all, I have to show you how we fold this. This is basically a technique that I just invented, and it's worked great. So firstly, you start with the corner of your t-shirt. You first lay it flat, and then I'm just going to start with the corner, and you just go back and forth, just like making a fan. You want to keep them pretty close to the same the whole time. And I've been doing this for a long time. My kids have a hard time. I usually help them do it. It's really not hard. You might be able to get your mom to help you. When you come down here, it starts getting a little bit harder, but you just have to have patience, and you can do it. It's really easy once you get the hang of it. So I'm just going to show you. Go back and forth. Once you get it folded, and that does usually take a little bit of time. Not that long, though. But that's the hardest part, is the folding it. Now you want to preferably have your t-shirt have no wrinkles in it. Then it's a little bit easier to do this folding with. And it's probably a good idea too, you might want to have the t-shirt pre-washed. Sometimes brand new t-shirts have sizing or something in it, but I haven't really run into that problem, but that might not be a bad idea too. Like this t-shirt is actually brand new, but I don't think it has anything in it to prevent it. These are actually men's t-shirts that I kind of turn it into a female t-shirt. These are really good for for turning into a maternity t-shirt. For women who are so sick of all the terrible maternity clothes out there, that they can turn into wearing a piece of art on themselves instead of just looking all dreary when they wake up in the morning. And then when they get done having their baby, then they can go wear it to go work out. At least that's what I do. So anyway, I'm almost done. You just have to keep doing this back and forth folding. And it does take a little bit of time. Just make it go. You just sort of have to tell the t-shirt who's boss and get it to lay down for you. Like I said, you might want to get your parent to help you do this part, but it's really not that hard. But some of the kids always seem to think it's difficult, and so I usually have to help them with it. So you just get this down, back and forth. I'm almost done. Okay, now, once you get it together, they usually stay shut pretty good. But if you're really worried about it, you can always put a little masking tape down here to hold it together. Or even string or something like that if you want, or a clothespin, or even like those chip clippers. That might be a good idea. That's some of my kids have sort of suggested that. Usually it holds still pretty good. So now, what I usually tell them to do is while they're working at one end, you just hold that end closed. So let me start this over here. First I'm going to take my different kind of dies. Usually I let them use just 2, but just because I'm the teacher I can use however many I want, and I brought 3, so I might use 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit, because like I said, this is very concentrated. You don't need very much. So I'm just going to use a little bit with this one, and then with a different plastic spoon, I'm going to use the other one. You definitely don't really want to pour these because it might get all over the place, and this is very wasteful, and this dye is very, to me it's relatively expensive. You don't really want to waste, and I hate to waste anyway. So that's basically what you do, and then I'm going to just start with lots and lots of water. Now, especially with the purple, you want to use lots and lots of water. It's, for some reason, just because it's so dark, if you don't put enough water, it's going to end up looking black on your t-shirt. That's the only thing. All the other shades don't really have that problem, but you really need lots and lots of water when you use the purple. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the purple. And what you want to do is keep on using lots and lots of water. And what I do is I usually bring it off to the edge. I'm actually bringing the water onto this palette, and then I'm going to use that to start working on it. And what you're going to do is you're going to just paint on the top where you've got it folded. You're just going to paint with a thick brush just like this. You can actually use any brush. I usually use a smaller one for the kids, but I just happen to bring this big one. Kind of nice. And you're just basically going to paint on all the tops that you see. You don't want to paint on the inside of the fold. You just want to paint on the tops. And then I'm going to go back and add a little bit more. And what you want to make sure, what I always tell the kids after they get done, they always have to check between their pleats, because every once in a while, and there's usually always at least a few kids that have skipped a couple of pleats, and they'll open it up and there'll be one whole one that they didn't see that kind of snuck down. So that's why you want to try and keep them even. You're less likely to have that problem if you keep them all about equal when you're doing your fold. But it's no big deal. You just have to, before you open it, you've got to make sure you got every single one of them. And you basically just want to just do how I'm doing. You can do it any way you want. You could actually go all the way down, but I think it's better to do it in a section at a time. And that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do this whole one side, and then we're going to flip it over and do the whole other side. So now I'm still doing the purple, getting it up here. And this makes really fun birthday presents, Christmas presents. This t-shirt only costs, I don't know, $5, $6. And then you can add all this stuff to it and give it to your favorite aunt, give it to somebody who knew is going to have a baby, give it to your dad, whoever you're making it for. It's really fun. Make it for yourself. I'll tell you what, everybody who wears these t-shirts, they don't want to take them off. They usually sleep in them at nighttime. That's what all my kids tell me. And all my kids come back again and again each summer because they want to make a new t-shirt because they practically wore the other one out. And it's great if you're going to go out for pizza or sandwich that has mustard or ketchup. If you spill it on this t-shirt, no one will even know. So you can have a lot of fun with it. Because I already did pretty much lavender all through here with the light, with lots of water, and I'm going to go ahead and darken it up now with a little bit of darker purple, just for a variety. Because you really don't want the same exact stroke throughout your whole thing. You can do it that way, but I always think it's more interesting if you have some darks and lights within the same t-shirt. And so that's what I'm going to do, is I'm adding a little bit of darker now, already to the ones that I've got lots of water on here. So it's kind of hitting the water and kind of expanding out. I just found one of those things that I told you that I forgot to get. This whole row right here wasn't gotten, so I'm going to go back and get it. Something else in there. You might want to put it inside out, but you don't really have to. And put it in the dryer for a while until it's dry, and then it'll be permanent from then on. What I usually tell my kids to do too is to wash them the first time all by itself. by hand. You might want to always wash these by hand, just if you want to keep them special. That's what I usually do. But the first time, wash it all by itself, and then after that, it's not going to fade or anything, but just to be on the safe side, wash it all by itself the first time. Then after that, you can just put it in with the rest of the wash if you want. If you want to keep it real special and you want to keep the whites looking really white, you might want to always hand wash it. But you can just go ahead and throw it in with the other wash once it's already preset. So don't let your mom get scared. I mean, don't scare your mom. She'll think you're going to turn her whole laundry purple or blue. Now I'm going to go down here. I've already used some of this purple. When the wind blew it, it kind of mixed the two colors. So I'm going to go ahead and use that color. It turned into kind of a pretty blue here. I'm going to use some of that blue right in the middle. Kind of did this lightly. Now that I did the whole thing pretty lightly here, so now what I'm going to do, just to make sure I've got this bright turquoise color, now that I already did it, there's plenty of water on the t-shirt. I'm just going to go ahead and directly put some of this right on here because I already know there's water on the t-shirt. That's the only reason I can do it that way. Because you really don't want to use this bright dye directly on the t-shirt. You want to use lots of water. But since I already have the water, it's okay. I'm only using a little at a time because I do not want to waste. And that works out better. You don't want to pour a ton and you'll have too much. So I'm going to do that so I get this beautiful turquoise color down here. And I think I'm going to go back up here, put a little bit of that color around here. And you might want to do, too, the sleeve area. That's what I always try and get around the sleeve area, right where your arm comes out. Do this sleeve area a little bit. All these little details, all these little things that you're doing is going to make your t-shirt more interesting and more stand out. And believe me, when you're at a restaurant or you're out at the beach, people are going to be stopping you. You better have information to tell them because they're going to be asking you, where the heck did you get that neat far-out t-shirt? And you can say that you made it. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it over. I like this turquoise color that I got here. It's pretty bright. Got it a lot of places. So now I'm going to flip it over. You can tell I got all the front section completely done. It's all the top sections. Now it's very easy. I'm just going to flip it over. And now I got a whole fresh t-shirt on this side, and I'm going to start all over. Now I'm going to keep the front and back pretty much the same. Some of the kids change and make it a little different, but I'm going to keep it pretty much the same. I'm going to still put the purple on the top, and then I'm going to still keep the bluish kind of at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and start with this purple at the top here. And I got to put more water. This purple is so strong. And you just go really quick like I showed you. You can take your time. I'm trying to not doing it too slowly because I'm trying to show you and I want to have it be so that you can see what it's going to look like when I open it up. You can take your time. You can take, half an hour, or even 2 hours. There's all different ways you can do this. I've had people just do it really delicately with little delicate marks, and it turns out really cute and dainty. Just depends, that could be for a girl, but a guy could do real big strokes. So we all have our different styles. So don't be afraid to find out what style is yours. Just experiment. Dye definitely is permanent, so just make sure that wherever you're putting it, that's where you want it. Now remember, you want to keep these closed when you're working on them. You don't really want them to open up. And you want to make sure you pretty much water them down, with, especially with the purple. Keep lots of water, like I'm doing. I'm kind of pretty much going back and forth. And I know, that it's going to probably take you a while before you get the hang of it. You can take your time. Make sure that you don't put all your dye on your brush and then put it in the water, because then you're just rinsing out your brush before you got to use your dye. And you can sign these too. A lot of times I've sold these before. I had a business and sold a lot of these t-shirts, and I used to sign it right at the bottom. But then people were putting in a knot or tucking it in, and they said, I really want it to still show, because you know how everybody's into labels. So they told me to start signing the name up here. So that's what I did. I started signing it right up here, so that when you fold it, it would still show your name. And then what you can use is you just use a permanent marker. And they even have them in colors if you want, like a permanent purple one or a permanent blue one. If that's the colors that are on your shirt, you might want to do that. So I'm almost done here. I'm just going to add a little more blue. And now down here, I'm going to go ahead and mix the two colors. And at this point, I always try and use up all my dyes that I poured out, so that whatever you've got going, you might as well go ahead and just darken up whatever. I'm doing some on the edges here. I'm just going to go ahead and mix the two and then just blend that in. So down here, it'll be a little bit darker. I don't know. Should I try the green on it? Yes? No? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish. And, okay, now we're going to open this baby up and see what we got here. So, it looks like this now, and it looks like this now. I'm going to just squeeze it real tight, just real quick before I do this. And let's see what it's going to open up to. And that's what it looks like. Pretty cool. So this could be for a present, or this could be to sleep in. Pretty cool. So go ahead and try it. You'll really have fun, and you never know what you're going to come out with. My name again is Nicolette, and I'm from Central Coast, Santa Maria, California, and thank you very much.